Welcome back to episode 5 of the Mental Health A Series for Men project. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty simple word, but it means a lot. That word is listen. Previously, we kind of talked a little bit about how not everyone stays in your life. You can be in a room full of people and still feel alone. The words pain and peace, what's wrong, and now we're on to the topic listen. It's a touchy topic in a way because I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is to have someone that is willing to sit down and truly listen to what people have to say. It's important to have a friend, a family member, someone that you trust enough to be able to sit there and just simply listen without talking. So, Gannon, why do you think that's important within mental health to have that person?
Well, just know, speaking off of like personal experience, that probably like 2 to 3 people for me,
Mm-hmm.
like legit, only that, maybe 3 to 4, like that I've like had legit in-depth talks about with stuff. You know, me personally, and I know those people know who they are, and they've gone a long. It's gone a long way in my life having those people to lean on and talk to, and talking with them about their personal experiences that they can shed light on with me, and just kind of just give me an overall outlook and just somebody to talk to about anything at any time. It's one of those nice security blankets I think to have in a process, and when you're trying to understand what's going on, and then once you realize it and then talking about it and kind of just getting a foundation built is kind of just having that. Again, it's like a safety net is really what it is, something to fall back on, that you know that person's going to be there and able to talk about it, because once you break the ice the first time and let them know and go in depth about what's happened with you as a whole and an individual, then it only opens more doors to what you can discover talking, I think, with that person. How
Yeah.
about you?
No, I like how you said the word safety blanket, safety net, or security blanket, safety net. I think those are obviously pretty
Because
similar.
it's just like, I know, just thinking about those people right now in my head is just, it's good vibes, because you just know that they're going to have something good to say and something
For sure.
useful, regardless of the situation, whether they can help or not.
Yeah. And within the word listen, I want to go a little bit deeper into what that safety net means. I'm glad you brought that up because a safety net is like Dan said, he's got 2 to 3 people that are willing to listen, willing to be there for him when he has to talk, when he has to express himself, get things off his chest, and that is a safety net. Kind of imagine it like you always got some fish in your net in a way. So you're out fishing, and you always got 2 fish in that net. They're not going anywhere. I wouldn't say they can't escape. I mean, they could definitely stop being there for you
Yeah.
if they don't want you, if they don't want to be anymore. But it's important to have those people that are reliable, trustworthy. They hold you accountable. We actually talked about that on an episode with one of our guys, Train T, um, on an episode we did this past week. We talked about that. We talked about how it's important to have someone like that that holds you accountable, and I think that's huge with being a person that has to listen to someone and hear their problems, hear their issues. If they express words to you that don't seem like they're okay, and then they go out and drink, or they go out and smoke and do bad things to harm themselves mentally, you got to hold them accountable for that. They're not trying to get better, and it starts with yourself. It starts with that click in your brain that realizes, okay, my friends really got my back.
Yeah.
When you notice that, it's huge. So I want to ask you now again, and like, do you think those friends that you have that listen are they friends that it develops over time with the relationship and you're able to be vulnerable, or are you able to be vulnerable as soon as you kind of meet a person?
Yeah, so like the 3 people that I know that I have conversations with, one of them is Bryce.
Figured.
We could that's
Figured.
kind of goes mutual both ways with us, but um, 2 of the 3 people are people that I've known my entire life, and I know they're always going to be there and be somebody that's in my circle regardless of what goes down, good or bad for me. And then a person that I met once I got to school is one of my former teammates now, and that was more of a baseball, I think, aspect is kind of how I bonded, because he was from the 815 area and kind of just helped me along the way with some stuff, because he was at my school for like 6 years and it was obviously a seasoned veteran there. But that was more baseball and off the field, like life stuff, kind of growing up, becoming a man, that type of thing. But all 3 of them, developed, but one was quicker, at school with that type of rate, but the other two are more long term. And I think that's more of your typical scenario you're going to get, or people that you've known for longer
No,
and
I
have seen
agree.
you through a lot of ups and downs, good and bads. I think that's the biggest thing that I know with the people that I talk to. It's my thing is I never really like been to therapy or like gone to anything like that. So like the safety net, safety blanket thing I was talking about earlier is kind of like a reference to being like a therapy session, being able to, I know, pick up the phone and call people when I'm not around these people I talk to a lot.
Yeah.
So social media is big in that regard. Just sending text, like, hey, this doesn't feel good, like what's going on, like just to talk. Really, that's the biggest thing, is just to vent and give examples of what's going on in your life. The stuff that aggravates you, stuff that makes you happy, both ways, I think is the biggest thing that I've learned talking to these people, is kind of what triggers you, but in good and bad ways, which is
Yeah.
another thing we talked about in dealing with mental health, which is, again, dealing with that there's a lot of bad stuff, but there's also good stuff that comes with it. So I think that's kind of my version of it.
Mhm. I think another thing that I want to touch on here with this topic is you may be a person that feels like you have no one to talk to. So if you do feel that way, or you do feel the way that you don't have someone that's willing to sit there and listen, obviously, again, it said we've mentioned the route of therapy through the first 4 episodes already. But if you're scared to do that, let's touch on the topic. What do you do? One, if you don't want to go to therapy, and two, you feel like you have nobody. Your family, you don't feel like you're comfortable talking, and friends say you're just a homebody, and you
Yeah.
don't have many friends. What do you do? That's a subject I kind of want to dive into because I don't even know if I really know the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm just gonna talk and my thing. I mean, my thing with people I've talked about is not no family members at all. So I know that's something. It's tough because there's majority of people out there are gonna have at least a couple people that have that relationship. I'm thankful enough to have those people,
Yeah,
to be able to build that over time. And again, it just comes with the transparency, like what we talked about with Trent when we recorded that podcast a while back. And that's the biggest thing that comes to mind when I know that at any time you could say anything you want pretty much to the person, and you're going to get an honest response back. And I think
facts.
that goes
Yeah,
a big ways, and not even mental health stuff, just when you're talking on a daily basis about everything that's going on in life now, because stuff gets going fast at our age, pretty much anybody's age now. The entire world is at a faster pace than it's ever been, and it's going to keep getting that way and getting more crazy, especially people our age. They're graduating high school, college, getting real world jobs and that type of stuff. That's a lot of stress and extra burden that we've never experienced in our lives, and it's going to be all new at once. So I think it's nice having people that I talk to, I know, that are all within a couple years of my age,
hmm
to kind of get some gauges on that type of stuff. And
well, it's relatable.
yeah, and that's the thing. You're going to be able to give examples and talk about scenarios when they really don't even have any correlation, but they really do because they have the same concepts, I think is a big thing.
Oh, that's a huge thing. Actually, having the same similar concepts makes mental health relatable. Like we've touched on a lot of stuff that's quite similar. That's because mental health is all similar in a
Yeah.
way. But it's important to understand that there is a uniqueness within it. It does have complex differences, and the differences are different within everybody. Everyone has a difference within their mental health. It could be one person, their anxiety, they may never have a panic attack. Someone else may have panic attacks on the daily,
Hmm.
but they still have that relation of anxiety. It's still there within them. Some may be minor, some may be major. But when it comes down to it, we all need that safety blanket. We need a person, at least one person, who's willing to sit on a couch right across from us and just let that person lay it all on their chest. Take what you have, take your problems, and put them onto somebody else. Because they're not going to hold on to them like that. They're not going to hold on to your problems. They're going to be able to brush them off relatively easy, other than being there for you. Because when you lay your problems onto someone else, it allows you to clear that brain, clear that filing cabinet we've mentioned. And when you do that, you're able to open up that filing cabinet and start anew, start fresh,
Hmm.
and be able to kind of limit the struggles that you have going on. When it comes down to it, having someone to listen is the most important thing within mental health. If you don't have a person that is willing to sit there with you, you're gonna struggle, and it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard to bounce back from falling into that slippery slope of a dark hole. I've been there. Gannon's been there. I'm sure you've been there if you're listening to this. So find that person. Find that person and hold on to that person for a very long time because not many of them come by. You may find one or two people and they may be there for 50 plus years. That's just the way some people are built. They're more trustworthy, etc. But another question I want to ask Gannon is, uh, what did you do to kind of overcome the fear of expressing yourself and allowing someone else to listen to your problems? How did you break that barrier through yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question because for a while I didn't. But I think my stuff happened so quick once I like kind of got out of high school. It's kind of like been the 2 year thing
Mm-hmm.
that it happened so quick that it almost forced me to. And then with Bryce having to go through some stuff before I did, that kind of was like, hey, like it's okay. Like as a prime example right here with one of my good friends.
You kind of already knew what to expect.
Yeah, so like in that regard, and then with the other person, another one, one of the other people who were at school was later on after I kind of knew I was aware of it and was okay with it and was like it's cool to talk about being open about it, that type of stuff, and that's how I approached that. And the other one was just having that good of a friend, somebody that I talked about feelings with about stuff before even mental health stuff came about, just about everyday stuff what was going on health wise, people checking in on each other, that type of stuff. And that went a long ways in that. So then really once it came about and it was something that I wanted to talk about, it was no problem reaching out because I had that trust and love for the person. So I knew that that was going to be okay in that regard. So pretty much I never really had an issue with it. Once it happened, then it kind of just made me more and more aware each day, pretty much, I'd say.
Yeah,
How about with you?
I kind of have a different side of.
Yeah.
You got your side, I got my side when it comes to it, and I'd say for me that barrier was tough to break. That barrier was built pretty high up, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to break it down. I didn't know how to get through it and be able to be vulnerable and allow someone to listen to my issues. I always kind of growing up, I felt like it was the manly thing to do to just say, oh, I'm a guy. It don't matter. I'm not sad. I'm just angry. I'm just frustrated. I can get over that. Just knock it off my shoulder. But I mentioned something in one of these episodes. I said our goal with this is to take the bricks off your shoulder and help you walk lighter. And that was what it felt like for me. It felt like I had bricks on my shoulder and I didn't know how to brush them off. And I didn't have people knocking them off for me because no one knew about it. So if no one knows about your problems, no one's there to help you. You're struggling on your own. You don't have an opportunity to get better because you're the only one that knows about it. You got to include other people with your struggles. If you include other people within those struggles, then it allows you and that person to get a better feel for what the struggle is, how to fix it or not. I can't say that word fix, how to manage it, and how to move on from it, how to better your life and be able to live in that present state of mind. Wake up every day with three goals, have a positive mindset. That's what it comes down to with being able to understand that it's tough. It is tough in a way with everyone's story is different. Some people may have the bricks on their shoulder. Some people may never have the bricks on their shoulder. If you don't even struggle with mental health, I still recommend having those friends that are willing to listen. Having those friends that are willing to listen um, makes life better, makes life sweeter, uh, makes you feel important, makes you feel like you matter, makes you feel like you have an impact on other people, and that's all that people can really ask for. So this was a great episode. I love talking on this topic because it was a struggle for me to get someone to listen because I never told anybody, like I just said. So my advice is uh, tell somebody if you're struggling. I'm sure they will listen. Ask them to sit down, have a 30 plus minute conversation, and just get it off your chest, whether it's with the counselor at a doctor's office or it's with your mom on your couch. Have that conversation. It will allow you to be set free. You will be clear minded. You'll feel better. What's your advice, Gannon, on this topic?
No, you pretty much summed it up in a good way. I mean, honestly, you said it.
All right. Well, our next episode we got coming up is going to be the route of therapy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Episode 6 will be dropping tomorrow.